Happy New Year, Crystal. Thank you for taking time to do this exploratory questions and answers on changes in our credit industry.
Absolutely. And I'm excited. This is our first live stream on YouTube for our NAPMW group. And I hope people will share it as needed. And I know it's been a big topic for me, but I'm in the credit industry, but I know you've been hearing about it as well. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, 100%. Well, thank you for your specialty to talk on it, because I think there's a lot of misconception out there for what people can obtain. So thank you.
Yeah, well, to start off with, I know a lot of people are seeing some changes for their 2025 pricing, and they were a big surprise, I think, to everyone, including, some of us retailers. I don't think we were expecting as big of a change as we did see. Usually we get a big heads up so we can let our lenders know what to expect, especially as they're doing budgets in September and October. And we didn't get as much notice as we were hoping to. So we didn't get to pass that along to our lenders as early on as we were hoping to. But, we did see changes of, high 20s, 30s, even up to 40%, depending on the products. FICO came out early on and said, they're increasing it a little over 40% this year. The bureaus came out and said they were between 20-25% increases. So those were some pretty hefty increases. And then when you talk about inflation and cost of living, everyone was just kind of back in their heels about what to do about this. And so, we have to kind of get creative, think about what is best for consumers, what's best for lenders. When you talk about credit, it is a very small portion of the overall cost to do a loan, but it's a very big part of the risk factor and taking into consideration what qualifies a borrower for that loan. So we do take it very seriously. We want lenders to have the best product to fit their needs. One of the things that we are helping lenders with is possibly a credit cascade. Is there one bureau that can give them a good idea of a borrower's credit worthiness, and if they meet the criteria, FICO score, or even some underwriting criteria such as bankruptcies or collections, anything like that, that we can kind of narrow down their credit worthiness, and then go on to 2 or 3 bureaus and kind of help with the cost that way. That's one thing we're looking at. And then another way is soft pull reports this year had trended data added to them as an option, so that you can go further along in the process with that soft pull report before, possibly they're getting trigger lead calls or, other lenders bothering them throughout the process. And, it's maybe not so much as a cost savings, because you do eventually have to get that hard hit report. And, now the soft pull reports are almost as expensive as the hard hit reports, but it is kind of like a consumer benefit. And some lenders are opting to do that as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the consumer themselves, unless they're explained, but that it's really important to do the pre-screen opt-out. They can do that for 5 years. They can do it for lifetime, but the lifetime one, they have to basically do it through the mail. They have to get information through the mail. So it takes a little bit longer, but they don't know that if they do that, it'll help eliminate those calls from other lenders. So it's just one of those conversations we need to be having with our borrowers.
Oh,
there you are.
Okay. But you're absolutely right about the opt-out pre-screen. That's exactly where we need to go, and it has been very quick. Recently, within days, they've been able to do that for our borrowers.
Good. Well, I've always heard it's like up to 5 days is kind of the normal, but it's nice that they're able to do that quicker.
Absolutely.
Good. Perfect.
And then I know you had a few questions for me too.
Yeah. Just how do the new scoring models differ from the classic FICO that everyone's used to? That's been around for how many years?
Yeah, 20 to 25. I think we've been on these same classic scoring models. And, we're really excited for change. FICO 10T is the new scoring model that's going to be coming out, as well as Vantage Score. They've been approved by FHFA. They are not available for use quite yet. I think that those will be coming later on this year, hopefully. That's been delayed a little bit. But there are some changes that will come with that, some updates to the algorithm, which I know we're all hoping for, because you see these new scoring models on the consumer side when you do an auto loan, when you do credit card loans. You see how those benefit the consumer. They take into account, rent, utilities. You can do some self identifying through your bank account that these are regular payments that are being made. Some of that will be available with the FICO 10T. Another benefit to consumers is that with the Vantage Score, you don't have to wait 6 months for a score. You as soon as 1 month with Credit Info, you can get a Vantage Score. So that will help.
Good. That's awesome. And then when will these changes take effect? Because I keep hearing like late this year, 2025.
Yep, and that has changed a few times. So the most recent information is they are anticipating fourth quarter 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes along the way, especially as new information comes out. They are doing testing currently to see how those scoring models, reflect against current data. So, as information becomes available, they may, change that. So stay tuned.
Okay. Yeah. So how will these changes impact borrowers, like for their mortgage eligibility? Do you think it's going to hurt their process or better their process?
They're currently doing studies to see what that impact looks like. And so far, the studies appear to show that it will benefit consumers, especially because they will have more availability to, have control over their credit impact, especially with the utilities and non-traditional credit being added in. So that should have some impact there. They're looking at the risk models right now to see, make sure it's not going to add additional risk to lenders. So it is, they're trying to find a balance. And, whether they will have different score levels for different, for the Vantage Score versus the FICO score remains to be seen, because they do score off of different factors and they use different algorithms. So that remains to be seen. They're doing testing right now to see what that looks like.
Okay. So where can consumers go to properly find the information out as these, I think that as this rolls out, because again, they might not be able to know where a trusted source is.
Yeah, absolutely. FHFA is in charge of, making a lot of these changes and approving them. And I will include a link to the information included in this live stream.
Perfect. Perfect. So do you think like the credit karmas and things like that are out there, those apps will kind of go away, or do you think there'll be more of them?
I think that, there'll be more of them and they'll be utilized probably more as consumers try to get a better handle on their, credit. We try to utilize annualcreditreport.com because that's the official site that you go to get your credit report at least annually. Right now, I believe you can get it more often, and you can get it from all three bureaus and you get the full report. Getting the credit score may cost a little bit of money, but at least you can see what's on the report and, make sure everything is accurate. And, Credit Karma, all of those apps, nothing against them. Just if
Mhm.
it's a free product, just keep in mind that, you may be the product and they may gather your information. So
Yeah.
just as long as you're aware of that.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of, in a way, not true, accurate information. I mean, could be slightly different than what actually do get from your true credit score.
Oh, well, yeah, it's based off of a certain FICO model. So, just keep in mind that what you get at your mortgage lender is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so keep that in mind. And then yeah, you just have to be aware of what they're using and what they're utilizing versus your actual lender.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, good. Well, thank you for your time.
I do have one more
Yeah.
thing, and that
Oh,
has to do with the bi-merge credit models versus
yeah. Oh, yeah.
tri-merge. So those
Mm-hmm.
are coming up. I think those are technically supposed to be after the scoring model, or maybe it's before the scoring model changes. I think it's before. They're thinking about going to a two bureau change versus a
Mm-hmm.
three bureau. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that
I've
has
heard
a lot to
that.
do with the pricing changes that we're seeing,
Mm-hmm.
those increases as the bureaus are trying to compensate for possibly not being part of the conversation in some cases. So just trying to keep that in mind as
Mm-hmm.
lenders may have to change some of their processes. I know a lot of lenders that are saying, we'll just hold on to our three bureau process until, we don't have to anymore,
Mm-hmm.
um, or until some other lenders go through it and we see what that looks like for them.
Right.
Uh, so that is something that we're keeping an eye on to see how that process goes, because that
Mhm.
deadline has been pushed back several times as well.
Okay. Well, that's important to know for sure. Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, all of us at NAPMW always appreciate your efforts and being part of a member as NAPMW, but also being on that national board as president-elect. I appreciate your time because we're all volunteers, and this is how we get things done is just giving up our time when we can. So, as your current president, thank you, and we appreciate your expertise.
Thank you so much, Annette. Appreciate you
Yeah.
and talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.